In the early spring of 2015, before Darren moved in with his dad and his stepmom, he was living with Stefan in an apartment complex in New Carrollton, Maryland. It's just on the other side of Annapolis Road from LaFontaine-Bleu. At the time, Darren and Stefan's mother, Cheryl, was also living there, as well as their younger half-sister. It's a big family. Before living with Stefan, Darren had been living with their sister, Samantha, in her apartment nearby, but she made him leave after a bad argument. For all the tensions he had with them, Darren's family was seemingly supportive of him and wanted him to get back on his feet. For one thing, Darren stayed at Stefan's rent-free. And remember, Stefan was the one who gave Darren a cell phone. Darren's sisters back in Guyana were also sending him money every once in a while, when they could. Despite that, Darren seemed to have trouble getting along with his family members, with the people who cared about him, who took care of him and helped him. About a week after Darren was stopped by police and he gave Stefan's name, there was a fight between Darren and his younger half-sister over doing the dishes, of all things. There was shouting. Stefan said Darren pushed his younger sister, and he told Darren he had to leave. Not just that night to blow off some steam. He had to move out. Darren was enraged. Afterward, Darren left a voicemail for his girlfriend Vanessa on Facebook Messenger, telling her about the situation. You've never heard Darren's voice before. In the last 2 episodes, we had one of our colleagues read his testimony from the trial. But in this message we're about to play for you, you'll hear Darren's real voice for the first and likely the only time in this podcast. In it, Darren is telling Vanessa about being kicked out of Stefan's, and he mentions his mom, Cheryl.
Just so you know, Cheryl just put me out and called the police. But this ain't over yet. Because I always say this, I did too much for these fucking people. And if I gotta go, they're gonna go with me too. So, I'm sorry. Bye.
You can hear how angry Darren sounds. And more than that, aggrieved. We thought that voicemail was a revealing portrait into how Darren felt toward his family, and especially Stefan, in the spring of 2015. But it turned out there was even more to that voice message. There was another part that the judge ruled was too incendiary for jurors to hear. The attorneys discussed that part of the tape when the jury was outside the courtroom, but they didn't play it. We wondered at the time, what was in it? What was so inflammatory about Darren's message that the judge wouldn't allow it to be played? After the trial ended, we requested a copy of the full audio file from the U.S. Attorney's Office, and they handed it over.
Just so you know, Cheryl just put me out and called the police. But this ain't over yet.
That's the part we played already. But here's the part no one heard until the sentencing.
So this might be the last time you talk to me. Because when I leave here and I go back in the house, I'm going to kill each and every fucking last one of them. I'm going to shoot each and every last one of them in the fucking head. Because I always say this, I did too much for these fucking people. And if I gotta go, they're going to go with me too. So, I'm sorry. Bye.